This is your first time into the federal politics, right?
That's correct. I'm currently a White Rock City Councillor on a leave of absence for this campaign.
So, why and how did you decide to join federal politics?
Well, it started with a few phone calls from some of my friends saying, you know, Ernie, we really think that you would be a great representative of our community. And then I had a few phone calls from people in Ottawa inviting me to join the campaign. And there was enough support for me that I felt, especially once we looked at the fact that it was probably going to be under the leadership of Mark Carney, that I felt, okay, this is just feeling right. And I've done a fair bit in the community on a community level. And my parents were first generation, or actually my parents were refugees. I'm a first generation Canadian.
Okay.
And I see the not the collapse, but you know, democracy is at risk.
What do you mean by that when you say that?
Well, I look at how the current government in the United States is operating, and it just feels like the people have less and less say all the time, and the current president is taking the country in a direction where it becomes a little bit more of a authoritarian kind of a government, and I just don't want to see that kind of government coming into Canada.
Okay, when you go door knocking, you must be door knocking. You must be
For sure.
meeting the people of your voters of your riding. So, what do people say? What is their main concern? What are the main issues that they want their representative to go into the parliament and raise those issues? What are those?
Well, as you know, South Surrey White Rock is a border community,
Yes,
so we're
it is.
very close to the United States border, and people are very concerned about the relationship that Canada and the United States will end up having after you know things settle down a little bit. But there are other issues that are coming to me to be addressed, which are more long term.
Okay.
And for example, the cost of living, as you know, this is the most expensive place to live in Canada. So that issue keeps being brought forward by people at the door. And many people are concerned of how the Conservative government, what direction they're going to take the country in.
What about healthcare crisis? I know healthcare is under provincial jurisdiction, but a part of healthcare also comes under federal government, especially with the healthcare transfers. The federal government gives healthcare transfers to the provincial governments. I especially want to talk about this crisis because we know there are less family doctors as compared to what we need in Canada. I was reading the other day, Canadian Medical Association is telling 6.5 million Canadians do not have a family physician. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, last week, he announced a plan that every Canadian by 2030 will have a family physician. And under his plan, he talked about bringing in 7,500 new family physicians into Canada. He also said that $10 billion in Canada health transfers will be given to the provinces to work on this particular thing. So what do you think? What will if your party wins, if your party makes the government, what will your party do to solve this healthcare crisis?
I couldn't agree with you more. We are definitely in a healthcare crisis, and that is also one of the issues that is brought forward over and over again as I'm talking to people at the doorstep. My government, the Liberal Party of Canada, is going to look at ways of improving healthcare. One large issue that can have an immediate effect is there's so many doctors that are in Canada, but the restrictions that are put in by licensing bodies
Absolutely.
from to physicians or nurses or healthcare workers.
Absolutely. We have people from India. We have trained doctors from India,
Right.
who are probably driving a taxi here. There's nothing wrong in driving a taxi, but they are trained doctors.
I know. I actually spoke to a doctor from a South American country who is a bus driver in White Rock. And he said he just can't afford to get the license that he needs in order to practice. So I believe that if we were just to take away and create an easier way or a less expensive way for physicians, nurses, healthcare workers to practice in our country when, they have a reputable and up-to-date permits or licenses or whatever you want to call it, and we're not allowing them to practice in our country. I think we could already resolve some of the issue just by actually using the people who are residents of Canada. It doesn't make sense to me.
So Conservatives are proposing a Blue Seal exam. They are saying there will be one Blue Seal exam. You have to clear that exam, and then you will be able to practice in Canada in your particular profession. What do you have to? Has your party looked into that proposal the Conservatives are giving? Have you planned something of that sort?
The party has not yet come out with a actual proposal, but I know they're looking at virtually the same thing. And I myself have brought that issue forward on several occasions whenever I have the ear of someone, although I'm not in government at this point. But when I get to Ottawa in a few weeks, that's definitely one of the issues I'll be talking about, because my sister works with new immigrants to Canada in a program, and she has many people who are helping in the program, or as you said, they're still studying and improving their English, but they are fully qualified to be in the workforce for what they have trained to be.
So your party was in power since 2015.
Correct.
So it's 2025, 2015 October. It's approximately 10 years, close to 10 years. What has your party not been able to achieve in this 10 years that you want to achieve in the next term? Why are you guys asking for the next term?
Well, first of all, a slogan that somebody said I should be using is "New Party, New Game." We have a lot of new people that are going to be running to be the MPs for their area. And under the leadership of our new leader, we will be looking at a lot of economic issues. For many years, we haven't had an economist or a financial professional that's dealing with the business of running the country. And I've always said that it's interesting to me that you don't need to have someone who is an actual business expert, which I believe Mark Carney is, running the biggest business within the country. So I am happy to say that.
Will that matter a lot? Mr. Klassen, what do you think about it? Because I 100% agree with you that the leader has changed. I 100% agree with you that new candidates like yourself, you are running in these elections. But will that make a difference? Because party is the same. The policies are the same.
The policies, are most of them are going to be reevaluated, and some of the policies that are coming forward already are quite different from the former government of the Liberal Party. So I don't think it is the same party anymore. It's a new direction that this party is going to be going, and I believe that's in response to what the citizenship or the people within the communities of Canada are asking for. Just when you think about housing, for example, Mark Carney has proven to the Canadians that he is a man of action. When you look at the provincial barriers that have been in place, he's not asking for task forces, which will come back with a report. He's a man of action and said by July 1, these restrictions that are not working anymore within Canada between the provincial boundaries, those will be gone. So it's a different way of looking at how this country is going to be run. Yes, it's the same party, but it's different people, new leadership, and new policies will be coming forward.
Okay, talking about your leader, Mark Carney, there was a recent survey done by Nanos. And in that survey, the Canadians who participated, majority of them supported that Liberal leader Mark Carney discloses his financial assets, the one that he has put in a blind trust. What do you have to say about that?
Well, he did so sooner than was expected. or required, I should say, and he's given more information than was required. So I believe that Mark Carney has exceeded the requirements and the expectations of most Canadians.
Okay, again, talking about Mark Carney's decisions, the moment he becomes the Prime Minister of the country, the very first decision that he takes is eliminating the consumer carbon tax. Was it done under pressure? Why I'm asking this question is that axe the tax. That was the thing that was said by the Conservative Party. There was a pressure being built up. There was this dissatisfaction seen in Canadians over a period of time against carbon tax. So did Mark Carney take this decision under pressure, thinking that now we need Canadian support and now we are going to polls? Let's do something that Canadians will be pleased to see. What do you think about that?
I don't think that Mark Carney will cave under pressure, and I don't believe that he caved under pressure around the carbon tax issue either. I believe that the Liberal Party, under the leadership of Mark Carney, was responsive to what Canadians were asking. And so there will be new ways that are going to be formed in the future to deal with some of the carbon tax issues. But I believe that he responded to what Canadians were looking for, and that's what a strong leader should be doing.
Okay, recently, U.S. President Donald Trump, he was giving an interview with a media organization. He said, he specifically mentioned Liberal leader Mark Carney, and he said it would be easier to deal with a Liberal government. Do you see this as an endorsement by U.S. President Donald Trump?
Not at all. I think Donald Trump was recognizing that he was going to be dealing with someone who actually really knew the terms and knew how to deal with someone like Donald Trump. And I think that the Prime Minister proved by the way he responded to Donald Trump that he's going to be dealing on a very rational level with an intelligent person. And it's much easier to deal with someone who is intelligent and works rationally than dealing with Donald Trump himself, who it appears doesn't deal with issues rationally the way most Canadians or the way most people actually would. I hear from a number of my American friends that this is not what they voted for. Even the few who did vote for the Republican Party, but they're not seeing Donald Trump run the country the way he promised during the campaign period.
So for a long time in the polls, Conservatives were leading. When Mark Carney became the Prime Minister, Mark Carney became the leader of the Liberal Party of Canada. The polls shifted more towards in favor of the Liberal Party. Now, today in the morning, I was seeing this Nanos poll. Now they are saying that the gap is narrowing between Pierre Poilievre and Mark Carney as being the choice of Canadians for being the next Prime Minister. What do you have to say about that? Do you think that the hype that was created about Mark Carney, it's kind of fading down now? What do you have to say about that?
I'm not sure that the hype is changing. Well, first of all, everyone who works or deals within politics keeps telling me don't look at the polls and don't really care what the polls say. Get out and talk to the people. And the only poll that really matters is on election day. I do think that whenever there's a new leader or a new person comes onto the scene, that things change a little bit. And then as people have a little more time to evaluate, then we might see the polls reflecting more realistically of what's happening out there. So one should never campaign based on the polls exclusively, at least. But they are definitely something to watch.
Suppose your party doesn't gain majority seats. Suppose your party is in a position that they are able to make a minority government and not a majority government. Would you still like to bring in NDP to support you guys? Would you like to get Bloc Québécois support? What would you do in that case scenario?
I think that's a question that we will have to evaluate once the election is over and see where the other parties stand in relationship to the Liberal Party. At this point, I wouldn't want to commit to the party partnering with any other party until more discussions would happen at that point. But I'm convinced that's not going to be a scenario that we're going to have to deal with after April 28.
Would you like to give any message to your South Surrey White Rock voters?
Well, I would just like to say that this is the biggest privilege of my life to be out there representing the residents of this riding. I would not have thought that I'd be in this position, even a few years ago. But when I was asked, and I believe that democracy is something that I want to fight for on behalf of all the residents, I should say democracy as we know it today, on behalf of all of the residents of the South Surrey White Rock riding. And I would be so proud and honored to be your member of parliament.
Thank you, Mr. Klassen. Thank you for joining us, and all the best for your campaign.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.